Okay, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Ruach HaKodesh, and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, Shalom 12 Lele. Today I have this article I want to jump into, you know, dealing with the whole thing going on, how, the U.S.'s capture of President Maduro basically sparked or I would say opened the eyes of the world a little more, you know. And the main point I wanted to get at was how the tension on just a global scale is so high, right? Like dealing with all these countries, a global scale, right? All these places that hold power, the tension is so high that it's clear that the Lord, right, is the one holding back World War III, as he said he would, because basically World War III means that's going to be the final war, right? The war of Armageddon. It's Harmageddon in the Hebrew, meaning Valley of the Troops. But what is Armageddon known as, right? The end of the world. And World War III will be that battle that marks the end of this world. World being aeon or eon, meaning age, like a period of time, a time period. It'll be the end of not only Esau's rulership, but the time that the Gentiles, the other nations, ruled the world. And it's clear to see that the Lord is the one stopping that from happening as of right now. Because tensions are so high, bro. It's like you would have thought it would have popped off by now, man. But it's like there's something keeping it from happening. And that something is Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai, the will of the Heavenly Father. So let's actually start off with that before we get to the article. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 7, verse 1. The subtitle reads, an interlude. And after these things, I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. And what these angels are holding back is the destruction. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living God, and he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our God in their foreheads. Right? And that seal being this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of this truth. Right? The word of Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai, by way of the Holy Spirit. Scriptures speak about blessed is he that readeth, which we can get that real quick too. This is Revelation chapter 1 verse 3. We can get straight to the point. And it reads, blessed is he that readeth, and they that hear the words of this prophecy, and keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand. Now it reads, blessed is he that readeth, because really it's those who read with an understanding of what's being read, right? An understanding of the prophecy, because they have the spiritual capabilities by way of the Holy Spirit, by way of Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai, by way of that seal. So blessed is he that readeth, and they that hear the words of this prophecy. They hear. Everyone hears the words, right? Because it's preached throughout the 4 corners of the earth. So we all hear it, but only a few are going to hear it on a spiritual level, to where they hearken to that prophecy and keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand. And then the time is indeed at hand, man. The time for this devil to be taken down. So going back, Main point being, and after these things I saw four angels standing on the four corners of the earth, holding the four winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. Right? Because it's the Lord's will that destruction doesn't come yet, man. Because you have certain prophecies that have to play out as the Lord willed it to. The main one being what? The MOTB. Right? The micro C-hip. That implant that if you take, or if you don't take rather, as pertaining to Revelation 13 and 16 on down, you will not be able to buy and sell. That is the main prophecy that we're waiting on. And it's evident that the society or the system, right, that beast system that's being put in place by way of this AI, by way of the digitalization of pretty much everything, that's what it's heading towards. But that destruction can come before that. It can't come before the famine of the word, which we see that, spearing its head up. There's been news going around how YouTube is using AI to change brothers' videos, basically change what they're saying in the videos. Man, and the Lord is going to recompense these devils immensely for that, bro. See, and technology has increased so much to the point where they don't even have to stop us from preaching the word to stop us from preaching the word. That's crazy. But yeah, certain things have to play out before that destruction can come. But let's get into this article. It reads, European allies back Denmark over Trump's threat to annex Greenland. Has a little 30-second vid, so we'll play it real quick.
I don't want to talk about Greenland. Let's talk about Venezuela, Russia, Ukraine, and we'll worry about Greenland in about 2 months. Let's talk about Greenland in 20 days.
On Venezuela, we talk so much about energy.
By the way,
you see how they're all so joyous, bro? Like, there's so much pride emanating from the three of them. The Lord is going to bring these devils down so bad, man. It's going to be a wonderful sight.
I will say this about Greenland. We need Greenland from a national security situation. It's so strategic. Right now, Greenland is covered with Russian and Chinese ships all over the place. We need Greenland from the standpoint of national security. And Denmark is not going to be able to do it, I can tell you.
All right, so there you go. Jump into the article. It says Pauline Kola. 6 European allies have rallied to support Denmark following renewed insistence by the US that it must have control over Greenland. Greenland belongs to its people, and only Denmark and Greenland can decide on matters concerning their relations. The leaders of the UK, France, Germany, Italy, Poland, Spain, and Denmark said in a joint statement. On Sunday, Donald Trump said the U.S. needed Greenland, a semi-autonomous region of fellow NATO member Denmark, for security reasons. Right? A fellow NATO member. So we see, which way the Lord took to have, America's allies turn on the beast, right? And also destroy her with fire, as pertaining to Revelation 17 and 16. This is Revelation chapter 17, verse 16. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, the 10 horns pretty much making up the EU today, upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, the beast being NATO, these shall hate the whore being America, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. Now this whore was the one riding upon the beast, right? And again, it's representing America, basically being the face of the revival of that Roman Empire, and how her allies are going to turn on her and aid in her destruction by thermonuclear fire. It said that Denmark was a fellow NATO member, and America is basically threatening it, right? And you had other allies, basically defending Denmark, so we see how the Lord's having it play out, man. But again, that goes to show you how the spirit of pride that America comes in, right? Scriptures refer to it as the hammer of the earth, and that's exactly what it's showing. Not too long ago, right? No so-called New Year's, Trump's resolution was peace on earth. A couple days later, he's kidnapping. Slacking, but a couple days later, he's kidnapping the president of another country, bro, and then threatens an ally. Where's the peace in that? See, but going back to what they said before, they were going to create peace through strength, I believe, man. And that's that big brother spirit. That's that I'm better than you spirit. What are you going to do about it spirit? Right? That's why scriptures refer to America as being stout, man. Let's go grab that too. This is Daniel chapter 7 verse 20. And of the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the other which came up, we start at verse 19. This is Daniel chapter 7 verse 19. Then I would know the truth of the fourth beast, which was diverse from all the others, this is being the Roman Empire, and sitting dreadful, whose teeth were of iron and his nails of brass, which devoured, breaking pieces, and stamped the residue with his feet, right, going into the power that they held. And of the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the other which came up, that other which came up being America, and before whom three fell, going into the three wars. You have the Spanish-American War, the French and Indian War, and the War on Independence. Those three that fell were the Spanish, the French, and Great Britain. Even of that horn that had eyes and a mouth that spake very great things, again going into the pride, whose look was more stout than his fellows, right? Denmark is a fellow NATO member, but America's look is more stout than his fellows, so it looks at its allies, as nothing, right? As tools, as less of an ally, more than a servant, a do-boy, right? Because I'm the one who holds the power. Again, that pride. Let's go into this word stout. It's Rob, great for your power, captain, chief, great master, stout, chief, captain, lord, captain, chief, great lord, master, stout. See, so America looks at itself as the chief or the head. Now, yeah, it holds the most power, but that doesn't, you're supposed to be allies, man. So you're supposed to move as such. You don't move against allies as if they were enemies, because that just shows that you were never really allies, right? And another scripture to go with this, Psalm chapter 55 verse 20, and it reads in Psalm chapter 55 verse 20, he hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him, he hath broken his covenant, right? So America, this is the spirit that America and Trump, right, which Trump is really just a puppet, but the spirit that America and Trump is in, forgetting the agreements that they've made with the other NATO members, right? And basically going back on their words. Because Denmark is supposed to be an ally, yet they're threatening it basically to go take over Greenland. So they're putting forth their hands against those that be at peace with them, man. That's the whole point of being allies, man. We're supposed to be at peace with one another. Let's get back to the article. Right, on Sunday, Donald Trump said the U.S. needed Greenland, a semi-autonomous region of fellow NATO member Denmark, for security reasons. He has refused to rule out the use of force to take control of the territory, and Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen warned on Monday that an attack by the U.S. would spell the end of NATO. And this is beautiful. An attack by the U.S. would spell the end of NATO, man. NATO is a transatlantic military group where allies are expected to go to each other's aid in case of external attacks. Exactly. The issue on Greenland's future resurfaced in the wake of the U.S. military intervention in Venezuela, during which elite troops went in to seize the country's president, Nicolas Maduro, and take him to face drugs and weapons charges in New York. Following the raid, Trump said the U.S. would run Venezuela for an unspecified period of time. Now, this alone shows us how, let's get Revelation 17 again. America is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth, man. This is Revelation chapter 17, verse 18. And the woman which thou sawest, we can get verse 17. For the Most High hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled. Right? So again, going back to the point that I made, it's clear that the Lord is the reason that World War III has not popped off yet. It's clear that the Lord is the reason that America's allies and these other countries have not fucked America up yet, because the Lord has a spirit on them to keep working with America, to keep doing what they're doing until the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled. What words? Again, we have other prophecies that need to play out before that destruction can come. With verse 18, and the woman which thou sawest is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth, man. The U.S. just went in and took a sitting president and kidnapped him and took him away out of his own country with zero repercussions. You can't do that if you're not top dog, man. Here it is. The U.S. just bombed, was it Nigeria or whatever, for saying that they were killing up Christians. Now look at us. Well, not us. It's like that was a slip of the tongue. That was a complete slip of the tongue. Not us. Now look at them. They're stealing presidents, man. And nothing happened. It's because America holds that #1 spot in the world. When you're at the top, who is there to come tell you when you need to chill? Well, the only one above America right now is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. And he is going to be the one to do that for America, man. To bring the repercussions. To bring the recompense. So, back to the article. The issue of Greenland's future resurfaced in the wake of the U.S. military intervention in Venezuela, during which elite troops went in to seize the country's president, Nicolas Maduro, and take him to face drugs and weapons charges in New York. Right? And I find it very, strange how easily this was accomplished. So you never know with these devils, man. Following the raid, Trump said the U.S. would run Venezuela for an unspecified period of time, which really is forever, because whoever they put in there is going to be a puppet of America anyways. So indirectly, America would still be running Venezuela. He also said the U.S. was returning to an 1823 policy of U.S. supremacy in its sphere of influence in the Western Hemisphere, and he warned a number of countries the U.S. could turn its attention to them. Hey, he cometh like a lion, seeking whom he may devour, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time, man. The U.S. military raid in Venezuela has reignited fears that the U.S. may consider using force to secure control of Greenland. A day after the raid, Katie Miller, the wife of one of Trump's senior aides, posted on social media a map of Greenland in the colors of the American flag alongside the word soon. On Monday, her husband, Stephen Miller, said it was the formal position of the U.S. government that Greenland should be part of the U.S. And was the guy who fucked up on TV and basically said that, Trump held all the power. And now we're seeing that, right? Well, we've been seeing that, but everyone's seeing that now, right? When he said Trump holds plenary power, basically meaning, there wouldn't be any checks and balances. He could just move how he want, on a dictator. But the formal position of the U.S. government that Greenland should be part of the U.S. In an interview with CNN, he also said the U.S. is the power of NATO for the. What did we just read? Let's go back. Let's get it again. Daniel 7:20. Right when we went into the word stout, it was robbed. Meaning what? Great figure of power, Captain Chief. Right? So there you go. They're showing that stoutness. They're straight up telling you, we're the power of NATO, man. We're the chief. We're the greatness of NATO. For the U.S. to secure the Arctic region to protect and defend NATO and NATO interests, obviously Greenland should be part of the U.S. Asked repeatedly whether the U.S. should rule out using force to annex it, Miller responded, nobody's going to fight the U.S. over the future of Greenland. We shall see. No, you already got countries back in Denmark stressing they were as keen as the U.S. in Arctic security. The 7 European signatories of Tuesday's joint statement said this must be achieved by NATO allies, including the U.S. collectively, whilst upholding the principles of the UN Charter, including sovereignty, territorial integrity, and the inviolability of borders. Greenland's Prime Minister Jens Frederik Nielsen welcomed the statement and called for respectful dialogue. The dialogue must take place with respect for the fact that Greenland's status is rooted in international law and the principle of territorial integrity, Nelson said. Trump has claimed that making Greenland part of the U.S. would serve American security interests due to its strategic location and its abundance of minerals critical to high-tech sectors. Right, they just want to go over there and build up some shit, as they always do. The Trump administration's recent move to appoint a special envoy to Greenland prompted anger in Denmark. Greenland, which has a population of 57,000 people, has had extensive self-government since 1979, though defense and foreign policy remain in Danish hands. While most Greenlanders favor eventual independence from Denmark, opinion polls show overwhelming opposition to becoming part of the U.S. Morgan Ngaju, 27, an Inuit living in Ilulissat in the west of the country, told BBC Newsbeat it had been terrifying to listen to the leader of the free world laughing at Denmark and Greenland and just talking about us like we're something to claim. Come on, man. That great whore, man. Just pride, right? This is supposed to be an ally or semi-ally, and they're talking about them like they're just a bag of chips. Oh yeah, we're gonna need that. Let me just go ahead and grab that. See, and this is why when the Lord takes these devils down and we're living in the kingdom, there's nothing but peace going around, these devils, everyone is going to realize that, yeah, we were tripping, right? We don't know why we were so against this, because the kingdom of heaven is going to be it's just going to be perfect, man. And everyone's going to acknowledge it. No one's going to want to go back to the way things were here, except for maybe Esau, but after 1,000 years, they out of there anyways. We are already claimed by the Greenlandic people. Kalalit Nunaat means the land of Greenlandic people, Morgan said. He added he was worried about what happens next, wondering whether Greenland's prime minister may suffer the same fate as Maduro. Or even about the U.S. invading our country. So it ends off there, but you can see that things were already escalated, and now they just escalated even more. It's like, what is it going to take to get things to pop off? But again, the Lord is the reason it hasn't popped off yet, man. Because America has already done enough to this world for the countries to be like, okay, yeah, let's take them out of here. That's already been done. They're just, as scriptures say, how their iniquities have reached up into heaven. Man, they're just adding more on top of that. They're just steady stacking and stacking and stacking. But it's the Lord holding it back. I want to grab this one more, right, and we can close it off here. We start at verse 10. This is Psalms chapter 33, verse 10. The Lord, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, bringeth the counsel of the heathen to naught. He maketh the devices of the people of none effect. Right? So, whatever these devils got planned, which we know what they have planned, the Lord's going to put an end to all of it. The counsel of the Lord standeth forever. The thoughts of his heart to all generations, right? Basically going into the will of the Lord. It always plays out, man. It always prospers. And that's why World War III has yet to pop off. Because it's not in the will of the Lord for it to happen yet. Let's get this in the NOT. It reads, but the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai's plans stand firm forever, right? Because it's his will. And that shows you power. When what you say actually goes. His intentions can never be shaken, right? So nothing can, knock off the will of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. If it happened, then the Lord wanted it to happen. However it happened, I had a thought come into mind, but I think we'll just leave it off there. Lord willing, it come back to me, and it might spark, another lesson. We'll see. But with that being said, once more, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Wurchahabradash, and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the hopeful elect. Lord willing, this video was edifying, and informative in some way, shape, or form. Shalom.